This is TJ Erickson from TJ's Guide Service with your Park Rapids Area Fishing Report, brought to you by Delaney's Outdoors. First, let's talk ice conditions. Ice conditions across the Park Rapids area are really pretty strong. We're seeing an average of around 10 to 15 inches depending on the lake, depending on the spot. No matter where you go, please be safe, be careful. These ice conditions can vary so quickly from spot to spot, especially if you're thinking about starting to bring out a pickup, ATV, side-by-side, some of those vehicles. A lot of those are pretty safe for travel right now. Please be careful. Check it before you go. Second thing I want to talk about is snow. We've gotten a lot more snow within the last couple weeks. That's putting some more weight, some more pressure on this ice. And on the few lakes that I've checked the last couple days, we're starting to see a little bit more slush. A lot of the lakes are still sitting pretty good, but some of those cracks are developing. Some of that weight is pushing down, allowing that water to seep up. So please be careful as you're heading out for that as well, because there are some pretty big areas of slush. Be watchful for those areas. Try to avoid them if at all possible. Now finally, let's talk fishing. The panfish bite, both crappies and bluegills, have remained pretty strong. We're seeing fish cruising some of those basins, as well as still finding some up in those weeds if there are some green weeds still on your lake. Now onto the walleye side of things. We're still finding some fish in and around those weeds, especially on those weed edges. But one of the things that I'm starting to target more, especially as those weeds die off, is now into some of that 20 to 30 foot range. It might be deep rocks, deep humps. It might be points that stick out. Another thing that I'm really targeting is looking for transitions, especially if you're able to find some areas in the summertime that transition from hard bottom to soft bottom. Maybe there's some deep weeds down there that you can find that moves to sand. Target those areas. It seems those fish always are cruising in some of those areas. There's a couple things that I'm using to specifically target walleyes this time of the year. When I'm kind of running and gunning, trying to stay mobile, what I like to use is a buckshot spoon. The reason why I like to use that one is it's much heavier. It has a little bit of a rattle. Sometimes they have a little bit of a glow, which is prime, especially in those low light periods. But the rattle can sometimes attract those fish, and not only that, but with how heavy it is, it gets down fast. So if you're moving around trying to get on fish and you see fish down there and you want to get that bait down quickly, these heavier presentations can be key. Another thing that I really like to use, especially if I'm going to be either seeing fish down there or I know I'm going to be sitting there for a while, is a clam leech flutter spoon. The reason I love this bait is because of its action. It has a nice slow drop, and also when you pull up on it, it has a good flutter as you're pulling up, especially if you tip it with a minnow head, which is what I've been doing a lot. Both of these spoons, as well as any other gear, tackle, bait, can be found at Delaney's Outdoors. Go in and check in with the guys out there. They would love to help you out in any way. I hope you're able to get on the ice, stay safe, and have fun.